All right, thank you very much. And can you take a seat? We're going to start the second half of the session. Before we start the second half, I'm going to introduce an outstanding youngster among us. She is the reigning USA Ambassador National Team. She also won 2015 Miss Maryland Junior Team for National American Miss Pageant, and 2016 Miss Maryland Team for the US Ambassador Pageant. She has an extraordinary story to tell about her experience in winning these titles, and she's a great example of Chinese American challenging stereotypes and defining our own identity. Let's give a warm welcome to Carissa Wu.
Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Carissa, and I just want to thank Dr. Lee for the wonderful introduction. And as I'm looking into the crowd, I can see your reactions, and I can tell that half of you are probably thinking, wow, pageantry, that's pretty cool. And the other half is probably thinking, pageantry? I would never let my daughter do that. Well, and that's totally okay, but for the next 10 minutes, I just want you to throw away everything that you have heard about pageantry from TV shows like Toddlers and Tiaras or King of Queens. And I know that might be a little hard for you to do right now because all you see is my ginormous crown and flashy banner. But today I want to share with you the meaning behind my title.
Maybe you can take off the crown.
Yeah, it actually gives me a bit of a headache. But I want to share with you the meaning behind my title and how my pageant experiences have shaped my journey towards embracing my Chinese American identity. And before I start, I first want to give a little bit of the basics of pageantry just so you aren't lost during my speech. So for USA Ambassador, there are 4 required competitions. There is interview, evening gown, onstage question, and USA fashion wear. There are also some optional competitions like talent and spokesmodel. And what judges are looking for during these competitions is confidence, public speaking ability, a fun, relatable personality, but more importantly, they're looking for a girl who can represent girls all across the nation. With that being said, let's go back to my pageant journey. When I was young, I was confused, like maybe some of you were, about my identity. I constantly asked my mom why I didn't look like normal American girls and pestered her to no end about how I could be more like them. And I never really resolved this inner conflict until I started competing in pageants around 2 years ago. It all started when I was preparing for my first National American Miss Maryland State Pageant. And I was extremely nervous and self-conscious because at the time, my idea of a beauty pageant queen was a 5'11" Caucasian model, blonde hair, blue eyes, legs for days. I clearly don't have any of those things. But in my heart, I knew that although we as humans look on our outward appearance, God looks at our heart. So I told myself, Carissa, you might not be what judges are looking for, but you're just going to go in and try your best. So while I was preparing, it was when I was preparing for interview especially, when the picture starts to become clear. It all started when I pondered over how I would answer questions such as, what makes you unique? Or why should we choose you over other girls? And at first, I was stuck. I thought to myself, I'm a pretty normal girl. I have excellent grades. I have a lot of extracurricular activities like dance and piano, and yeah, I volunteer a lot through my community. But what makes me different? And that's when I realized I don't just do dance, I do Chinese folklore dance and ballet. I don't just play piano, I play Chinese traditional music and classical music. It's the fact that I'm a mix of 2 wonderful cultures that opens me up to a worldview that not many other people have. It's the fact that I'll be breaking this mold of a so-called pageant girl stereotype. And it's the fact that I'll be a role model to all girls, especially minority girls, showing them that no matter what race or socioeconomic status you come from, you can achieve anything as long as you believe. And with that belief, I walked away with the Miss Maryland Junior Team title, completely shocked and amazed. And next up was nationals. Because I won the Maryland title, I got to represent our beautiful state at the National American Miss National Pageant in Los Angeles, California. And for my talent optional competition, I chose to play a Chinese piano piece that perfectly combines Chinese culture and a crowd-pleasing tune. And that night, I competed against over 100 girls and their beautiful lyrical dances and stunning opera performances. But guess what? I won. I had won won the national talent title. And later on, I asked myself, well, why did I win? I mean, there were countless numbers of amazing performances that night. But I truly believed that it was my unique Chinese piano piece that had set me apart. I had shown the judges something different, something new, something that they had never seen or listened to before. And from this experience with National American Miss, I walked away with a newfound confidence and appreciation for my Chinese culture and for myself and my identity. And this confidence and appreciation only grew as I continued my pageant journey with the USA Ambassador. So this year, I had the honor of winning the Miss Maryland teen title for USA Ambassador and went on to compete for the national title in Tampa, Florida. So when I first arrived at pageant registration for nationals, I had already felt like a bit of an outsider. I was the only Chinese American contestant in the entire pageant system. But rather than letting this get to my head and making me feel insecure, I used my heritage to highlight my uniqueness. In my resume, I emphasize the fact that I'm a proud first-generation Chinese American and that my parents and their amazing immigration journey from China to America inspires me every day. I showed everyone there that I'm proud of who I am, and I'm not afraid to show it. And that, I think, is what completely blew away the judges. During optional competitions the next day, I performed another Chinese piano piece for talent, and during spokesmodel, I gave a speech about what I love most about Maryland. And one of the aspects that I highlighted was that because Maryland is so diverse, because we are a melting pot of many different cultures, I have opportunities like this to share my culture with others. And during interview 2 days later, I was ecstatic to find out that the judges had remembered me, out of the hundreds of girls competing. But more specifically, they had remembered my piano piece and my speech. All 5 judges commented on not only my piano playing skills, but gushed over how beautiful the song was. And they recalled my Chinese heritage from my speech and resume, and asked me questions such as, what's it like being first-generation Chinese American? Or tell me more about your parents' immigration journey from China to America. And I can guarantee you that these are questions that they didn't ask to any other girl in the entire pageant system. But it was through these questions where I got to share a piece of my life, a piece of my identity with the judges, and show them who I really am. One question that I remember so vividly is when one judge asked me, what is one challenge that you have had to overcome to be here today? And I told him, well, this might sound a little crazy, but many people thought that I wouldn't be able to win beauty pageants because I'm Asian. And when I had won the Miss Maryland teen title, people were absolutely shocked. And he looked at me and he said, no, don't ever say that sounds crazy, because I know exactly what you're talking about. That was not the answer I was expecting. And he said, you know, I'm from a minority background too, and I get told those things a lot as well. But I'm so glad that you didn't listen to those people, because I never would have had the opportunity to meet you today. And that was the question where I think we just instantly clicked, because we had bonded over something so special, our unique heritage. It was all because I was humble enough to share with him my experiences as a first-generation Chinese American and show him that this is a part of me that I will never let anyone make me feel ashamed of. But some of the most important lessons that I've learned have actually been outside of the pageant competitions. It's when I'm out in my community volunteering and connecting with the young girls that I'm so proudly representing. One of my favorite sayings from pageantry is that the crown and banner do not define you. You define the crown and the banner. So it's not this title that makes me special. It's the fact that I'm using it as a platform to inspire confidence and self-love in others. It's a platform for me to make sure that every kid all across the nation feel like that they are loved, that they are important, and that they are unique in the best way possible. And it's a platform for me to be the voice for thousands of Chinese American teens who feel like they aren't being heard. So what does this mean to you? I know I'm just a 16-year-old girl telling you a 10-minute story, but if you don't remember anything from this speech today, please just remember one thing, and that is that as Asian Americans, we can show the world that yes, we are Americans, and yes, we have assimilated into mainstream culture, but we're never going to let go of the 1,000-year-old ancestry that runs in our blood. Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa. Such an inspirational story. We are so proud of you. Really, we are so proud of you. You really, for young people, the pressure is to fit in. The pressure is to be the same as the other girl around you. But you told us that actually being different is good. Being different being unique is valuable. Thank you very much for the story. Thank you very much.